Okay, hey guys, it's Tiger Brinson, and I just want to start this video by saying I am a huge fan of The Walking Dead, and I think almost all of the characters in our main cast are just wonderfully written, and right now, Carol is probably my favorite character, just because she threatened that little boy. Like, that was bad apple, man. But today I'd like to talk about why I think Daryl Dixon is the most overrated character on The Walking Dead. It's just that, don't get me wrong, he's a good character, but we don't really find that, we don't find out much about him. And even after 5 seasons, he's still like this distant, emotionally abusive tool. And, he's just so antisocial. And it's cool, but when you don't really develop that character much, it starts to suck. Like, I could compare Daryl to Sawyer from Lost, but the difference is that Sawyer on Lost, he started out this emotionally distant, generic redneck with snappy one-liners, but he quickly became a likable character. And when we learn more about his backstory and how this is not him being distant, this is just him punishing himself because he is not a good person and he knows that, that made me fall in love with the character, and he became one of my favorite characters of all time in that show. The thing with Daryl though is, like, in season one, he's just a loud mouth, and he makes funny jokes, and he tells the zombie to shut up when it growls, and he shoots it in the face. But like, as the series progresses, he becomes more and more serious to the point where he's more of the strong silent type, which I really think turned me off of the character. I think they just really butchered that part because, he was intriguing when he would make all those jokes. And it was funny to see how he cared about his brother. That humanized him because he cared about his brother, and his brother treated him like dog, you know? And it's just funny because, like, now I hate him because it's just, like, season 5, he sucks. Season 5, that whole go nowhere romance with Beth, I'm like, ew. Like, let's think about this. When's the last time Daryl's washed his butt? Like, he looks greasy and dirty. He looks dirty. And Beth in the show is 17 to 18 years old, and Daryl on the show is like late 30s. Like late 20s, early 30s. So I don't see, like, it was gross. Like, I know the actress in real life is 30 something, and in real life, Norman Reedus is, he's like 45. But I just don't like Daryl because there's not really any character development with him. Alright, I'm not gonna say that. There's some character development with him. Like, when he loses Beth, he becomes even more quiet than usual. In season, like, when they go to Alexandria, we kind of get season 1 Daryl back. But other than that, he's just been sitting on the porch doing nothing. Until he went out with Aaron, and him and Aaron understand each other because Aaron is gay and he's like an outsider, and Daryl, he was planned to be gay, but they scrapped that, and he's kind of an outsider. One thing good I will say about Daryl is I like how he's not sexualized. I like how he has, like, no love interest. Him and Carol, that'd be nice to see, but if it doesn't happen next season, I don't want it. Because then to me it would feel like Friends, and it'd feel like Ross and Rachel, like, will they or won't they? And I don't like that. I don't like will they or won't they. That's one of the reasons why I hate Chase from Zoe 101. He wastes the entire freaking series. He waits over 4 years to tell this chick how he feels, when in real life no guy would ever do that. Ever. Like, oh my god. And then he tries to say he's in love with her. You're not in love with her. You just got a 6-foot long bone because she's super hot. But anyway, back to my point. Daryl is an overrated character. Daryl has the appeal of Boba Fett, like Boba Fett from Star Wars. You love Boba Fett, or Boba Fett, I don't know how to say his name. You love Boba Fett because he's a mysterious character, and you don't get to know that much about him. And he's just this cool bounty hunter with a weapon, with like a laser pistol, and he's hunting down the characters and blah blah blah. And his backstory is interesting because it turns out he's a clone raised by his real self as his son. But with Darryl, he has the dumbest weapon in The Walking Dead. He has a crossbow. Like, that is like a hunting tool. You don't really use that to fight zombies because it takes so long to notch the bow, and then you can only take out like 1 or 2 zombies before you use a gun. Use a gun. Oh my god. Like, or use a sword or something like Michonne does, because at least that's useful because you can swing it around and cut off heads like it's freaking butter. But with a crossbow, that's just so stupid because you'll barely ever get to use it. Alright, and let me just add this too. Like, this is not about Darryl right now, but in The Walking Dead, you ever notice how Rick shoots like 18 rounds out of a 6-shot revolver? Like, what the is that? What is that? Like, that is stupid. Like, don't insult my intelligence. They only have to reload when it's convenient to the plot. Like when Darryl was hunting down Sophia, and he falls off a cliff or something, and he gets injured, and then the zombies coming at him, and he's trying to notch the crossbow. Even though in that moment I take a rock and beat its head in, I would uppercut it. I would not try to notch my crossbow. And he barely made it out of that situation alive. He barely lived. Because he has to use a signature weapon. He has to use a crossbow. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no one cares. Like a character much better written than Darryl is Dwight from the comics. He has a crossbow too, but he doesn't use the crossbow all the time. He uses guns. He only uses the crossbow on like sneak attacks, like when he killed Abraham, who I didn't really care about because he was a cheating scumbag. But yeah, he only used it in like those times, you know? Like, he didn't use it all the time just because it was cool. I think Dwight's a much cooler character, and I hope they put him in the show. And it would be awesome if Dwight ends up killing Darryl, because it'd be kind of ironic that the crossbow hero gets killed by a crossbow bad apple. Or him and Darryl get in this, like, no-scope crossbow match. That'd be pretty freaking awesome. But I just think Darryl, in conclusion, I think Darryl is, like, the most overrated character just because, like, people say if Darryl dies, we riot, but Darryl barely contributes to the story. For the first 2 seasons, Darryl barely got any screen time. So, I don't see the appeal with a character in season 1 and 2, Darryl had the significance of T-Dog. He barely had any lines, you barely knew anything about him. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. Darryl sucks. Alright, this is Tiger Brinson signing out. Have a nice fucking day.